Hey folks, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at the last day or so of the Marvel Avengers-Beta. This time we're looking at it on PC since it is a open beta, and this is what I've been playing with is the Steam version. So this is the first time I've gone to the marketplace. Now you get these credits. The credits can be used to skip ahead on the challenge card for each of the heroes. So for example, if we take Kamala over here, you can buy a skin directly, or if there's a skin in her challenge card progression, you can go ahead and pay to skip ahead a little bit. Now here in the beta, this is what is available. So you can go to Hulk and you can pick these outfits, these emotes and nameplates. Iron Man has several, including Eternal, Illustrious, and Chromolux. Miss Marvel, Throggy, Advanced, Avalanche, and the back off emote. And Black Widow has Dustwalker, Agent, Fear Itself, and Blood Moon. Now I gotta say, this is not really what Fear Itself looked like. Marvel Heroes, I think, did an amazing job of showing what Fear Itself looked like for Black Widow. Blood Moon is okay, but you almost don't recognize her because of the darker hair. I don't think I would be interested in actually, like, literally buying any of those. But that's not what we're here for today. What we're here for in this video is making fun of Thor's hubcaps in his armor. Even though the eyes look cool over there. Hate the dinner plates. So what we're going to talk about today is some changes that I think Squeenix and Crystal Dynamics need to make before the game goes live. So when I said about the credits, by the way, for challenge card, you can highlight a particular level over here and then pay credits to unlock up until that point. So if I really like this outfit, I could burn 600 credits and I would jump ahead to this level and I would get everything in between. So I would get this level 7 all the way up to level 12. So I think that's pretty cool, and it actually seems to be a reasonably cost-effective usage of the credits and everything. But one of the things that I really wanted to touch upon for this video is some changes that I think would make great quality of life decisions, or great quality of life changes for the game whenever it goes into its full production about 2 weeks from now. So here is the war table. I think I'm actually going to pick this one as we begin to talk about the meat of this video. So, changes that I think this game should make when it goes live. End of map loot hoovering. So, here's something that happens. When you are done with a map and you get that final objective, everything just basically proceeds instantly. You get a slow-mo, and then it's like you've won the mission. And you see all the sparkles on the ground as the camera pans
Avengers,
around.
with your help, we've managed to zero in on a major AIM research
showing
facility.
you all the stuff you haven't got. Now, a lot of it is that greenish blue that means they were health pickups. But if you saw other colors, that's loot that you are losing.
Any AIM project data you destroy on site
And it's
will be
loot
gone
that you
forever.
won't be able to
Excellent.
get. So
this is our chance to hit
I
Monica
think
where it hurts. Right in her
several
precious
things
research.
can help with that.
I'll
One,
send my best agents
loot
to help keep
hoovering.
local security busy.
So everything
simple,
comes to
direct
you,
plan.
no matter where it is on
Jarvis,
the
how
map,
hot do you think the
as
cereal
you're
will
getting
be?
the slow-mo
Shield's bombing run probably
for
won't
the
damage
mission
AIM's
being
structures,
over and everything.
but should help slow
Everything
their
shows up
security
in your
response
inventory.
somewhat.
Or you have a
Jarvis,
box
are you still blocking AIM's network access?
back at the
For the moment,
helicarrier
Commander, though
where
they're
that
putting
loot
up
is
quite a
delivered
fight.
to. World of
Note that I'm
Warcraft
picking up
does
an
it where
electrical
loot is
overload
mailed
in
to
the
you
server
if you
room.
don't pick it
Might
up.
be a security
Borderlands
system.
3 has
Might be
the
a result of damage caused by Shield's
that
bombing run.
locker,
Either
that
way, be
machine
careful.
I always
that
am.
stores
Not so
loot
sure
of a
about
quality that you
Hey,
didn't
not
get during
true.
a mission and throws it up there until it's full. There's plenty
Best
of
way into the
ideas out
facilities through
there.
the main entrance.
I've got a squad in the
Where-
area to lend a hand.
Examples of what can be done are actually out there, and there's a whole host of things that I think could work. You've either got the hoovering, or you've got like a container, or it goes maybe to that shared inventory that you have access to right before you do a mission. I think there's a lot that could be done that isn't just wave goodbye to everything because the game cut you off. And sometimes maybe you're running around trying to get that gear, but you have compatriots that are kind of doing their job and they're beating on things, and maybe you're like 2 steps away from a piece of loot when Hulk kills the last person in the level, and now you're boned. Another thing that I think they should do while on the subject of loot is make the artifacts universal between characters. Damage reduction, fire resistance, 15 power, shock resistance, increased critical chance. I think I actually like that and plan on boosting it. So you have these ISOs over here, okay? They are not exactly character specific, whereas the gear is. I actually need to shard some of this. So I've complained in previous videos that one of the things that kind of sucks about the game is that you require all these resources down here to equip the gear and everything. That gets better once you start playing quite a bit. You generally don't have to worry about that once you get going. It's a very beginner thing, and I'm happy to see that, because it was really a detracting factor that, you know, in your first few levels you could get some potentially good gear and then you're not able to equip it because why? Because reasons. You're not save the cost for trying to augment it or maybe modify it, but simply putting on armlets on your body. I mean, really? Such a poor decision. Putting on a vest or an insignia and not having resources because it's early in the game, I think is utterly ridiculous. The other thing I would like to see them do, but I don't think we'll ever see it, is for this gear to modify the character in some way. Like, okay, those bands, how hard would it be to change the color, to change the pattern with a different piece of gear? Like this one, okay, you don't see it, but you know, the insignia could change. And I understand they're probably, much like Marvel Heroes, really focusing on body changes through skins and not gear, but it's really sad to
AIM sending reinforcements to the front gate. Hold them off until the
get
Avengers
a piece
arrive.
of gear
Stand
that is so
firm,
much
Agent.
more powerful than
Avengers
what
are
you
on their
have.
way.
Let's say on the order of 3, like you're going up from 15 to 18, and you really don't see it, quote unquote. I mean, you may feel it, some of the effects. Oh, she can't climb that. Some of the effects might be different, you know, like the PIM particles shrinking people, or maybe the anti-grav nature that you get from some gear where it's like, oh, if you execute a combo, you knock people up in an anti-gravity field or something. That's all cool and everything, and I actually think the pin particles are a hell of a lot of fun, but it's just a bit sad that that's all that it does, that you literally see no changes, that you have swapped up some gear. And especially when you go from a green to a purple, and you powered it up, you spent your resources on upping it to level 10 and everything like that. It just sort of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit when you see nothing really has changed. Although maybe, a little bit of your combat style has. If you have like the pin particles or something says that it's based on the combos. Speaking of combos, that's just what I'm getting over here. Wow. So that's one thing I'd like to see them change, but I doubt they will, because that conceivably is going to be major code to start graphically representing all of this gear. And, to be honest, MMOs have had it and everything, but Marvel Heroes did not. And they still got by. Nobody really complained about it. The next thing is leveling and the card challenges. I would like to see, when you're doing solo work like this, that the companions that you bring with you get some... Wow.
Oh man, this hurts.
Wow. I thought I had that combo off before that guy hit me. I would love to see them... Jesus, I hate... Oh, fucking ridiculous. I would love to see your challenge cards say like Iron Man's with me on this mission.
Thank you.
What's stopping him from absorbing some of this? Good lord! I hate those like sniper lasers that you see in a lot of missions. Their tracking skills are impeccable. But anyway, I would love to see, if you and Iron Man down a mech and he has a mech daily of
and not in a fun dinner
kill
and
6
movie kind of way.
exosuits or
We need to
something
take
like
care
that,
of them first. Send us their location.
why can't he progress if he's not my main? I mean, he did just kill a suit. Especially if, like, the AI is controlling him and he gets the final blow, then he really has killed the suit, but he won't get credit. And he's not gaining experience. I disagree with that highly. It makes managing what you play even less fun. And it puts it more on par with Marvel Heroes, where I'm okay, that was weird. These blow up guys, you don't want to be near them anyway. Back it up. I like the way you blow up, no diggity.
I can do this.
I still got it.
I think that it's a shame that in this party right now, Kamal is the only one getting experience. Kamal is the only one getting challenge card progress. Kamal is the only one getting gear. Gear is a little bit iffy. Like, I can imagine, you know, Hulk not, you know, Hulk gear not dropping or anything like that. It'd
That
kind of be
assassination
cool
team
if
is
it
not
did.
going anywhere. Once you've taken care of them,
Again,
AIM can kiss that Project Data
evoking-
goodbye.
Marvel Heroes, as an example, you got gear for characters you're not currently playing as all the time.
There is a special enemy unit close to your
There is
location.
a way
They
of
may
looking
drop
at
something
it
useful if defeated.
that saying that it sucks. You know, it's like, well, I'm running Kamala, why am I getting Hulk gear? But by the same token, there is also a part of that is fun, because let's say Hulk is like your secondary character, and you have a pretty good Hulk, and you're playing as Kamala, and you get a piece of gear for Hulk, would you maybe not be excited for the next time that you can play Hulk and swap that gear over? I mean,
Secret weapon!
you see it in...
Get down!
I'm not paying attention to my health. You see it in MMOs all the time. You saw it in Marvel Heroes. I mean, it's not that uncommon of a thing. I could see how it decreases enjoyment, but I can also see how it could increase enjoyment to have a random
They'll think twice
deer
next
hunting
time.
redneck. Okay.
When you see that
Especially
AIM
if you
team,
have
say
the
hi from
ability
me.
to use a
By
shared
hi, I assume you mean neutralize them.
vault space.
You catch on fast.
One thing I think they should definitely do, because they make it so hard for leveling alts, you can't carry them. So if I'm trying to level Black Widow and she's a 2, and my Hulk and Kamala are a 10 over here, what's a very common tactic? Farming while being carried. More specifically, you see it in all kinds of games that have a social nature. Why can't my 10 Hulk, my 10 Kamala, my 8 Iron Man drag a 2 Widow, a level 2 Widow onto a mission and get her some experience while she's one of my companions? Since you can't do that, how about giving you artifact drops, ISO drops, that increase experience gains? Not unheard of in
There's the
games
team.
like this,
Nothing fancy. Let's
to
bring them down
have
hard.
something like
This
that.
is not the time to take chances.
You know you're slightly crippling yourself by wearing one instead of one that gives you stats, but that might be exactly what you need is for, you know, Black Widow to level. You're not really caring about having her equipped in super meta, high performing, top tier gear
Who's next?
when she's 2 or 3. You just want to get through those levels fast.
For the big gun!
That's better.
Because you realize, like, hey man, I've done this stuff to death, and here I am doing it again. It's all because I want to level this Black Widow. And if she was able to, you know, have percentage gains on experience,
them.
like
Enemy
through an ISO,
Nice
or
job.
something like that, I think that would be cool. And I don't think that would necessarily be
Demon no longer a
unheard
threat.
of.
You got this.
You know, especially if
I think that was the last baddie.
you could equip multiple of them. You have the 2 slots. Maybe you want to equip both, a 10 and a 10, 20%, boom. You're risking buffs, so why not? One of the other things I want to talk about, and this isn't a, hey, this would be cool if, but it is going to lead to a, it would be cool if, fix the crashing. Now, my Xbox One version did not really crash. However, when I tried to stream it to the PC, I definitely had some issues. Yet I was able to play it quite well on the Xbox app. which was surprising. You would think that playing the... Come on, you could... There you go. I think I saw something up there. You would think... I did. I thought it was a chest. It's just breakables. You would think that a cell phone in the same house as the Xbox One would probably have a crappier performance than a PC in the Xbox One communicating, but nope. Slapping a Razer Kishi on an Essential phone yielded quite a positive experience.
Stay alert, Avengers.
But the
AIM still
Steam
has a lot of
version has
security in the
definitely
area.
had quite a few crashes that I've experienced. And that leads to my next suggestion that I think they should do for quality
Watch your
of
backs
life.
out there.
Crash forgiveness. So this is something that was... You do see it in some other games. So for example, Heroes of the Storm. If you're playing Heroes of the Storm and you disconnect from your game for whatever reason, or you lag out, if you try to get back in, the game will go, do you have a game? You have a game in progress. Do you want to join it? If you don't, you're going to get a leaver penalty. So of course you say yes, you try to get back into it, it tries to get your client in sync with how the match is, it catches up, you start playing. If you're playing solo, and you just have your own superhero friends with you, and you crash in the middle of a mission, that's it, you're shot. You have to start the mission again. Why isn't there some kind of a crash forgiveness in that? Or you were midstream, do you want to resume? Now my guess is if you're playing online with multiplayer, you probably can get back in and resume. I don't know if you'll get a prompt that's just like, hey, you were doing something with your friends, is your shitty connection finished, do you want to get in there and go back and rejoin them? I mean, if it's like Steam, you can join them likely off the friends list and go to where they are. Similar to like VR World, I can fire up VR World, see where my two good friends are, and like get into the world that they're part of by doing that. If I was playing with three friends as Kamala over here and I crashed, I would hope that I would have the ability to rejoin the session. But with offline, I don't know if they're using cloud saves or not. It'd be cool if you could restart from the last major checkpoint as if you falling offline was a death. And that maybe your session is held for like 5 or 10 minutes if you fall offline. If it's longer than that, it destroys the session, but if it's shorter than that, you have the ability to pop back in. It was like you were in the middle of a mission, do you wish to resume? And it maybe like pops you back at a nearest checkpoint rather than the instant you crashed. Those to me are some quality of life changes that I think would be really good. Now, something that did come up in this version that a lot of people did want is the shake and the motion blur. So the motion blur you can turn off completely now, and you can turn off the screen shaking when intense stuff is going on. I haven't looked as to where it is, but from what I know, people have said that they have installed with it being at 10, and that for them, knocking it down to 4 or 5 seemed to be the best. Knocking it down to 0 was awful, but knocking it down to 4, maybe 5, wound up being the way to go. And it may be on my external settings, the little launcher one. So at least they have made some changes that the community wants. Now, if we are doing a cloud save, how about making that data available to your account on other platforms? So, for example, if everybody is having to sign in with a Square Enix account, which I guess mine is doing it because I never get prompted for it. Maybe I did it once and it said it and forget it. But if it's doing a cloud save, it'd be kind of cool if I could go downstairs and sign into my Square Enix account and play Marvel's Avengers on my Xbox One, and that everything I've done is saved up in the cloud, so that maybe later on, if I had a PC version of it here in Steam, I could fire up what's in my profile. That would make maintaining multiple friendly relationships with people easier, because then you won't have, say, all that PC progress that you make, but then you take a 10 level dip backwards to go to the Xbox One to play with some friends that want you to play with them that weekend. And like all your level 20 characters are now back at level 10 because you rarely ever touch the Xbox One version. You prefer the PC. That's another thing that I don't expect that they would do and would have issues doing, because they would need all of the consoles to be on board, the PC, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. But it's a nicety, and it's like, hey, if you're going to make us do the Square Enix account and everybody's complaining about it, at least give us a reward. Allow it to do cross-saving. Even if there is no cross-play, cross-saving, I think, would be amazing. I mean, I have the pre-ordered version of a deluxe edition for the Xbox One, but seeing as how one of the portability features that I've been hoping for, which is to sit up here, use the PC to play the Xbox version, since that isn't working so good, you know, I wouldn't mind if some point down the road I got a cheap version of this on the PC, like on a Steam sale, but didn't want to restart all the way over from Square Zero, especially if you're restarting a whole bunch when a new character comes out. It's tedious. Extremely. So, I think that would be... I think they would be some fun ideas. Some of them I don't expect to see happen, like share the visual display of gear on your character. You know, for example, Kamala could have treated her backpack as a gear slot, and that if you got a different drop, you could change the way that backpack looks. But unfortunately, everything seems to be tied to the outfit. But making minor changes, I think, would be cool. And I also think it'd give it a little bit of flair, so that every Kamala that has this red shirt doesn't look like every other one.
Our enemies are close.
Lastly,
Look for a chest with gear nearby.
fulfill people's superhero wishes
I can do this.
on
There's
a
a chest
character.
with gear close by.
Give them the
It's on.
power fantasy. I mean, some of Hulk's moves, some of his power moves, his the moves he hits when you like hit stun people, the YB. I think it's maybe a takedown. They're so visceral. Even Kamala Khan has some good ones in that category too. They're so cool looking, but at times,
That was the last one.
whereas that really fulfills a Hulk fantasy to be able to essentially Loki somebody on the floor a little bit. How? And there's a crash. Ridiculous. That's that. Well, there you go, folks. There's the problem with the Steam version. I mean, I don't know what I was doing. I don't think my card overheated or anything. So, trying to get back my train of thought there. So while that's a cool power fantasy, and Hulk and what he does, and even the traversal is cool, just getting lightly tapped by something and being knocked out of a wind up for an ability or a heavy attack just seems so stupid. There's creatures in the game that do it. There's mobs that do it, that can take your heavy attacks and like not stagger, but they're not shielded, they're just beefy. You should be able to make Hulk do that. And conversely, on the other side of it, Black Widow can't break breakable doors, even with a heavy. When I encountered one on an AIM mission, there was a door there that I could not break because Black Widow just kept like grenading the floor, and I didn't have a wind-up heavy attack that would let me get through this heavy attack door. But if I'd been playing the Hulk, if Kamala, literally anybody else in the roster would have been able to get through it. Which does bring me to my final point that I've been forgetting. If you bring your toons out on a mission with you, because you're not partnering up with matchmaking, if you have characters that you're saying, okay, well, they're not going to gain experience, they're not going to gain challenge cards, because they're there as your companion. They need to be piloted by you in order to gain those things. If you're going to do that, why not dedicate a key on the gamepad to switching your active hero? Would that not be amazing? Yes, I know the gamepad is used for switching Tony's laser mode and barrage mode and everything. However, there's still two other directions that are unaccounted for. One of them is show map so objective. The other one is used for Tony and is probably used for others. Let's do something with the other cardinal directions, like a ping system for, hey team, stand here. Nothing is worse than the take control missions where you have 3 or 4 things that you're constantly running back and forth to, making sure AIM does not step on the pressure plate and reverse or get past you in energy gains, but on their side. If you could add a ping system, like stay here, or if you're targeting a friendly, and then you do, one of these commands that it's like, well, I'm mousing over Hulk, so Hulk, you stand here. But I'm not mousing over anybody, or I'm mousing over an enemy. Everybody attack this. Everybody stand here. Everybody play defensive. These all sound like smart things, but I don't know if we'll ever get them. Some of them just seem ridiculously obvious that we should have, but I guess we'll find out. Maybe somebody will pay attention to the things that I've been bringing up. There's another article. What gave me the idea to think about this stuff is there's an article, I think it's on IGN, of things that they want to see fixed. I felt like they were missing the point. Some of them were kind of stupid. Like, hey, when I go over gear, my immersion's breaking because I have to stand on it for a few seconds, which could be precious, just to get the piece of gear in my inventory. I don't have that problem at all. Like, I literally just run past things and they're sucked up to me. I don't know if it was a change that was made for this beta and this person complained back at an older one, but I don't have that issue whatsoever. I never have to camp on something. The reviewer also said it would be nice if you could open chests quicker. I kind of agree with that one. Some chests do take a while to do. And if you're playing as Hulk, the only thing you're doing is kicking the lockbox. Why did it take you 15 seconds to kick a treasure chest on the floor? So, yeah, I do believe that's something that needs to be worked on. Not the loot thing, though, because I think this person maybe was connected to a bad data center or something, but I've never had to quote-unquote stand over a piece of loot unless it was maybe clipping into something like a statue remnant or a wall. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Overall, I do like the game a lot. I've finally gotten to have a better weekend playing it than I did last weekend, and I'm happy with what I've done. I've bounced around to the different tunes, gotten a feel for them. Iron Man I consider my least favorite, with actually Hulk and Kamala being my two favorites now, and Kamala wins the personality thing for sure. But I would recommend it. Maybe not the deluxe edition. You may not want to spend the extra money, but especially if it comes on a Steam sale, I think the game is recommendable quite a bit. So, thanks a lot for checking out the video, everybody. Take care and stay safe.